Today, before we start, I'd like to talk about my little buddy Domino. He hurt his disc in his back, and now he's on steroids and muscle relaxers and pain pills. We don't know if he's going to make it through. We have 3 weeks to find out. So, with a heavy heart, there are some things I'd like to talk about. First, I'd like to say we did a video, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. And I talked about that sometimes the market is driven by earning, sometimes by interest rates, sometimes by new technology. But I felt that now we're in a geopolitical world. Geopolitics was driving a lot of how we should look at our investments so that we can make money. Now, I don't think that we all have to go out and hire ourselves a chief political officer, but I think that we have to have a little bit of geopolitical savvy to understand where we should invest for the future. So I think you're all aware now that after we did the rare earth, I just want to run through real quickly how this all came down. So they had Israel and Iran going at it, and then Trump announced the ceasefire and a rare earth mineral deal with China at the same time. So, as if you remember back, the Chinese then announced 2 days later that they had signed the rare earth mineral agreement. And at that time, everyone, that was it. They signed the rare earth mineral agreement. And I had said at the time, I feel that China said to America, no more rare earth minerals unless you stop attacking Iran. So we did. And if you remember those 2 days, Netanyahu launched another attack against Iran after America said there was a ceasefire. And we all got message that Trump called them up and said, you have to stop. And we now know that we had used basically 80% of our supply of missiles, and we can't make any more without rare earth minerals. So that was it, we go away. And then all of a sudden, Huang is going to China, and there's no announcements or anything, but he's saying, hey, to the Chinese, I got it to the Chinese press, if you order our H-20s, which we banned, guess what? The orders will be filled. So they went to Bessent, and Bessent had already announced there was no quid pro quo on rare earth minerals and chips, none, he said. And then 10 days, 2 weeks later, he said, well, the deal was a mosaic of a deal, and the chips could be included. And then like 3 days later, Lutnick came out and said, okay, it was a chips for rare earth mineral deal. And that's where we are, okay? And so then, within another week or so, this happens that MP Materials, the only magnet manufacturer in America, the US government goes in and takes the largest equity position in it, and then a couple days later, whatever they are now, the second or third largest company in the world, Apple, they take a huge position in MP. So to me, when you look at this, one, we had a wake-up call, and the wake-up call is, we need rare earth minerals. We said that. And so good for MP Materials. And if you read about the guy who started this, not started it, but took it over and everything, I applaud him. But MP Materials is a little company. Today, Morgan Stanley is now going to lead a secondary to give them more money, okay? But they're tiny in a multi, maybe tens and tens of billion-dollar business, okay? So, in that video that we did on, who owns the patents on rare earth minerals and everything, we listed all the companies in there. I have no comment on them, but I don't think this is over by a long shot. But again, we said, look, we felt if the global world was breaking, there are at least 4 areas that we had to watch for breakage. There are food, energy, technology, and underwater critical infrastructure, UCI. And then we said after the Iran-Israeli war, now we have a 5th. We have rare earth minerals. So today, we're going to add a 6th one. one last thing on these rare earth minerals, and I want to say, look, this is a big subject. These are about the magnets that are made from rare earth minerals, but they're also hard to make, very complex, high tech. And today, yesterday, China put on restrictions on all technology. You're not allowed to ship it out of the country. So you can't go build a plant in Thailand or, Germany or anywhere, okay? So we have to do this on our own. And as we said, this is going to take us 5 to 7 years. So now we have 5 areas that we have identified that could break in this deglobalization era. And today we're going to add number 6, and it's drones. So when you look at the drones here, 90% are made by China. That means for every drone made anywhere else in the world, China makes 10, okay? So they dominate this. And I'm a kind of a military, reader, ancient, it doesn't matter. All kinds of history, all kinds of military, anything that's about military, I like to read. And everybody knows, anybody watching the Ukraine war, what's going on with the Israeli, Iranian thing, the Houthis, drones are big. There's no other way we can say that. And guess what? A lot of our parts that we build our drones in, guess where they're from? Yeah, that's right, China. So America, we know this, all right? The military knows. And we have this system, it's called Blue USA, UAS, excuse me, which are unmanned aircraft systems, and you must be certified by the U.S. government if you're going to make it with the U.S. government. And you can imagine what the certification is. You can't use any Chinese parts. I don't think you can use any foreign parts. I think everything has to be made in America, by America. You can stop and read this. It's all there. And the Pentagon is directing funding, procurement, and research to boost U.S. drone manufacturing. So why did I say that? Well, think about it. Look what we did with MP. The government bought in. And the government here is saying is, we will do direct funding, okay? So the next question in my mind is, okay, who do we have? Who's the American companies? Well, here's our Blue UAS companies that have been approved by the U.S. DoD and to secure federal and military use as of 2025. I do not know if they're public or not, but here they all are. And I've done no research on them. Not really what I do. I'm not researching companies. I know MP turned out to be a hit, but let's be honest. MP, they're the only ones that had the patents and the only plant. It wasn't a research thing. It was the only one we have. So, of course, I asked Perplexity, what are the publicly traded UAS companies? And you have this parrot up there. Here's their chart. So you can see in the last, this year, it's up from $2.50 to $12. So you have to I did no research. I don't know what their sales are. I don't know anything about them. I know they're approved by the Pentagon. So here's a summary table from Perplexity. You can read it, go through it all you want. You can see there are 3 publicly traded, but there's also 3 private, or actually, if you look at on the list, there's actually more than that. So what do you have to understand the drones, what kind they build, where they get stuff, so forth and so on. So I kept digging, and I said, look, there are at least 7 to 10 notable publicly traded drone stocks on major U.S. exchanges, and with several more internationally in related sector. Here they all are. In addition, 6 publicly traded eVTOLs, or advanced aerial mobility stocks, and mention up to 12 publicly traded drone manufacturing globally. So it's a small universe, 12. It's up to you if you think this is an investable sector of the economy. And my bet is that these companies are going to receive a lot of money from the U.S. government. So I know these companies probably don't have a lot of sales, certainly not a lot of profit, and, but times have changed. The lights have gone on, and we now know we have to do something. So what do you think in the comments? And like and follow.